Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. In previous modules, we have studied about ecosystems, ecosystem structures and ecosystem functions. And we have also learned about different type of threats to different ecosystems. In this module, we shall be studying about grassland ecosystems in detail. The learning objectives of this module are definition and characteristics of grassland ecosystems, the distribution of world's grassland ecosystem, the abiotic environment, climate and soil, biodiversity and community composition in grassland ecosystems, ecosystem functions. Then we will also study human impacts on grasslands and grassland management. Grassland ecosystems are of widespread occurrence and these are ecologically and economically very important. The productivity of grasslands provide important services to humanity, including feed for livestock and the regulation of carbon and water cycling. Grasslands, sometimes also called as rangelands, they provide forage and habitat to domestic animals and wildlife. The soils of grassland ecosystems store large quantities of carbon and other nutrients and play a major role in global biogeochemical cycles. It has been estimated that approximately 1 billion people worldwide depend directly on grasslands for their livelihoods. Grasslands rank among the most critically endangered biomes due to widespread conversion for multiple anthropogenic uses, including 70% of global agriculture. As far as India is concerned, in India, grasslands occur in areas receiving between 250 mm to 900 mm annual precipitation or rainfall. There is a variety of grassland communities in India with different dominants in response to variability in environmental conditions, including grazing in each of grassland type. Let me try to define the grasslands. Grasslands are ecosystems in which the dominant vegetative component is comprised of herbaceous species. Coupland in 1972 has given this definition. Grasslands are ecosystems with a significant grass cover, interspersed with varying degrees of woody vegetation, and some deserts and shrub grasslands having a significant cover of grasses interspersed with succulent plants and or shrubs. This definition was given by Blair et al. In 2014. Characteristics of grasslands: climate, fire and grazing are three key factors. These are responsible for the origin, maintenance and structure of the most extensive natural grasslands globally. Vary in the relative abundance of grasses and other plant life forms such as trees and shrubs. High allocation of plant biomass below ground. Large input of plant root litter to the soil, resulting in high fertility of grasslands soils, particularly in temperate regions. Root weight in climax perennials is several times more than that of shoots. The tall grass prairies of North America or the velds of South Africa, the grasslands are disturbance dependent communities. This figure shows the global distribution of grasslands. Grasslands are among the largest ecosystems in the world. Grasslands occupy about 40.5% of the terrestrial area, excluding Greenland and Antarctica. Now, let me see temperate grasslands. Temperate grasslands have fibrous roots of grasses. The examples are steppes and prairies. These are disturbance dependent communities. The tall grass prairies of North America or the wilds of South Africa. Periodic fires, droughts and grazing, these are essential to prevent grassland transforming to other ecosystem types. This figure shows the temperate grasslands, savannas and shrublands. Major grasslands in the temperate regions of the world include the steppes of Central Eurasia, the velds of the high plateaus of South Africa, the pampas of Argentina, the prairies of North America and Australian bush. So dear student, please try to know about these different types of grasslands and their vegetation in the map. This figure shows tropical grasslands and savannas. Tropical grasslands are located near the equator between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. They cover most of Africa as well as large areas of Australia, South America and India. Savannas cover approximately 20% of the Earth's land surface. Let me have a look on the abiotic environment of grasslands. Mean annual precipitation in grasslands is typically well below 1000 millimeter and mean annual temperature is about 15 degrees Celsius. The climate of temperate grasslands. In temperate grasslands, temperature has large fluctuations from hot summers to cold winters. In temperate grasslands, precipitation is moderate to high with peaks during warm season. As well as the growing season in temperate grasslands is moderate to long. Soils associated with temperate grasslands are usually deep, over 2 meters, loamy textured, high in organic matter and very fertile. Soil profile of a mossy soil for a mixed temperate grassland is shown in this figure. If you see this figure, O horizon represent the undecomposed and partially decomposed organic matter that includes leaves, etc. A horizon represent wide zone of humus accumulation. B horizon represent zone of deposition. C horizon represent mineral horizon and D horizon represent consolidated rock. So in this figure you will find that A horizon is very deep and that may go even up to 2 meters. Soils of tropical grasslands. Continuous withering in tropical grasslands and savannas has produced nutrient poor oxysols which are particularly deficit in phosphorus. Alphisols are common in the drier savannas, whereas antisols are associated with driest savanna. Let me study biodiversity of grasslands. The Patagonian steppe and grasslands exhibit about 30% endemism in 1200 vascular species. The ecoregion sports regionally distinctive communities of mammals, birds, and plants. The richest grassland worldwide is that of the Agulhas Plain, part of Cape Floristic province of South Africa. This constitutes one of the world's 36 biodiversity hotspots for conservation. The montane grasslands of the Tibetan Plateau support relatively intact migrations of Tibetan antelope and Tibetan wild ass. The Konja prairie that are native tall grass prairie preserve in USA, the grasses co-occur with over 400 species of forbs and woody plants, which provide much of the floristic diversity characteristics of the prairie. Predominance of grasses and forms in these grasslands and very few trees. These grasslands are rich, highly organic soil. These get benefits from fire, and in these grasslands we get high biodiversity of plants and animal species. The Durian steppe landscapes, the world's last intact temperate grasslands ecosystem. The Mongolian Durian steppe is one of few remaining Eurasian extensive grassland steppe where wildlife and domestic livestock coexist. These have a distinct flora and fauna with a number of endemic species. These are home to more than 1 million Mongolian gazelle, the largest aggregation of nomadic ungulates. The steppes is a UNESCO World Biosphere Reserve. Tropical savanna, we will discuss about Serengeti National Park. Serengeti National Park is located in north central Tanzania. The biological diversity of the park is very high. Threatened or endangered animal species include black rhinoceros, elephant, wild dog, and cheetah. The annual migration to permanent water holes of vast herds of wild beasts like gazelles and zebras, followed by their predators. This figure shows the location of Serengeti National Park. Distribution of the potential grassland types in India. In India, grasslands generally occur in areas receiving 250 mm to 900 mm annual precipitation. There is a variety of grassland communities in India. Major grassland types of India include Shahima Dachantium type, Dachantium censurus, Lesurus type, Phragmites, Sacharum imperator type, Thimeda arundinella type. In addition to that, temperate alpine grasslands are also found in India. The Shola grasslands of Western Ghats in India. The Shola grasslands are restricted in their distribution to high altitude, that is more than 1700 meter in the Western Ghats in India, have an ancient and geographic relict species of ungulate, that is Nilgiri tahar, which is an endangered species. This slide shows the picture of Nilgiri tahar. Tarai duar savannas and grasslands. These grasslands contain the world's tallest grasses and have the greatest densities of tigers, rhinos, and ungulates. The dominant grass of the floodplains is Saccharum or elephant grass, which grows each year to heights over 7 meters and sports a number of habitat specialists such as the Bengal tiger and its prey base, the cheetah. The grasslands of the Tarai in Nepal are among the tallest in the world and are maintained by silt deposited by early monsoon floods. Important grass is Kans grass in these Tarai grasslands. Alpine meadows of western Himalayas. The meadow vegetation comprises a large number of tussocks forming grasses, sedges and matted shrubs. Grasses form a large proportion in the flora in the alpine region. Many herbaceous plants belonging to other families, for example, Rosaceae, Fabaceae, Asteraceae, Lamiaceae. This figure shows the Khaila Bugyal alpine meadows, that is at a height of 3600 to 3700 meter in Pithoragarh district in Uttarakhand. Sodic grassland systems in northern India. A long-term protected grassland on a sodic soil at Central Soil Salinity Research Institute, Karnal, is in northern India, and these pictures are from that grassland. The grassland vegetation occurring on a sodic soil has been protected since 1970 and is mainly dominated by Desmostachya bipineta. Moderate diversity of plants has been observed in this grassland system. This table shows some of the threatened fauna of Indian grasslands. In the first column, you will find the name of the species, and in the second column, you will find the IUCN status, and in third is the habitat. So, first one is Tibetan antelope. Its IUCN status is endangered, and its habitat is cold desert. Then lesser florican, its status is also endangered, and this is found in grasslands. Great Indian bustard, critically endangered. This is found in hot deserts and grassland. The Great Indian bustard is a state animal of Rajasthan. Dear student, please study about these animals and you will find very interesting information about these animals. Then Indian wolf, least concerned, found in hot deserts and grasslands. Nilgiri tahar, as we have discussed just now, this is status is endangered, and this is found in Shola grasslands. Then hog deer is also having endangered status and is found in wet grasslands. Then white-backed vultures, critically endangered, found in hot desert and grasslands. So, I again suggest please read about these animals more. Productivity of grassland ecosystems. The rate at which energy is stored by green plants in the form of organic substances and is generally expressed as net primary productivity NPP in terms of biomass or carbon sequestration per unit area per unit time. After subtracting respiration losses during the measurement period from the total energy fixed, that is gross primary productivity. Tropical savannas can be remarkably productive with a net primary productivity that ranges from 1 to 12 ton carbon per hectare per year. The carbon sequestration rate, that is net ecosystem productivity, averaged 0.14 ton carbon per hectare per year. Western North American temperate grasslands, above ground primary productivity, that is ANP, ranged from 186 to 876 grams per square meter per year. Approximately 34% and 81% of allocation of productivity was below ground in these temperate grasslands. This figure shows annual above ground production and below ground production in North American grasslands, and the production is 34 to 81% below ground in these grasslands. This figure shows annual production of plant biomass in prairies grasslands, And this also shows that 60 to 80% of biomass is below ground. Plant richness productivity relationship. The biomass production ranged from 2 to 5,711 gram per square meter in different grassland community types, including natural and managed. The examples are pastures and meadows. Grasslands over a wide range of climatic zone that may be temperate, Mediterranean and tropical, and a wide range of altitude from lowland to alpine. The results based on 30 sites in 19 countries and 6 continents strongly support the humped back model of the plant richness productivity relationship. Dear student, I will suggest you to please read about humped back model. Humped back model of plant richness and productivity relationship is shown in this slide. The humped back model, called as HBM model also, suggests that plant diversity peaks at intermediate productivity. At low productivity, few species can tolerate the environmental stresses. At high productivity, a few highly competitive species dominate. This figure shows a tall grass food web, and based upon this figure, we can say producers in the prairie are grasses, forbs and wildflowers. Consumers include grasshoppers, harvester, ants, mice and prairie chickens. Carnivores are hawk and mole. Omnivore is grey fox, and decomposers are earthworms, fungi and bacteria. Nutrient cycling in grasslands. Grassland ecosystems contain cycles of nitrogen and other plant nutrients such as phosphorus and potassium. Nutrients are derived from weathered rock or dissolved in rainfall. The nutrients may be lost from the system by leaching or in runoff or through harvesting of plants. Most nutrients are recycled within the system through plant uptake, leaf fall and litter decomposition. Nutrients are stored in the biomass, the litter and the soil in variable quantities depending on the type of grassland ecosystem and seasonality of climate. This figure shows a compartment model of nitrogen cycling in a short grass prairie. Ecosystem nutrient budget can be presented in the form of compartment model. Values in compartments, that is in tanks or in boxes, are mean standing crop of nutrient in gram per square meter, and those on arrows are net annual flux rates in grams per meter square per year. From this model, we can conclude that soil has largest pool of nitrogen. Nitrogen pool in roots plus crown is more than live shoots, and annual net flux of nitrogen in roots plus crown is more than live shoots. Let me have a look on the human impacts on grassland. First of all, let me see the effect of agriculture. Much of the world's highly productive grasslands have been converted to crops, mixed farming and artificial pastures. Human settlement and urbanization is another important factor. The conversion of grassland to agricultural land and for human settlement have greatly modified these grassland ecosystems. Grazing is another very important factor. Grasslands and populations of wild ungulates have coexisted for millions of years. Desertification may be the most severe modification of grassland ecosystems. Fire is an important factor in maintaining the grassland ecosystems. Impact of climate change on grasslands. Climate change will affect the goods and services that grassland areas provide, including carbon storage, nitrate filtration, water quality, crop yield, and forage for livestock and wildlife. Now, what should be the grassland management strategies? Grassland management strategies include managing the plant and animal system, maintaining the desirable plant species in the grasslands, maintaining suitable levels of production, maintaining stocking rates, and prescribed burning to conserve wildlife and biodiversity. So, what should be done in India for grassland management? There should be continuous grazing but at controlled rates, reseeding the deteriorated rangelands with higher producing grasses and legumes, particularly during monsoon, broadcast seeding without tillage, and integrating grasses with tree-based systems. So, these may be some of the strategies in India that can be used for the management or for the protection or for the conservation of our grasslands. Now, to summarize this module, in this module we have learnt that climate, fire and grazing are responsible for the origin, maintenance and structure of most extensive natural grasslands globally. Major grasslands in the temperate regions are the steppes, the velds, the pampas of Argentina and the prairies of North America. Grasslands and savannas are of widespread occurrence within the subtropics and tropics. Grasslands provide ecosystems services like climate regulation, water storage, nutrient cycling, erosion control or soil stabilization, pollination and biodiversity. The strategies for grassland management include prescribed burning, conserving wildlife and biodiversity, protection of vegetation and seeding. Thank you.